Good morning, Pura Vida. Welcome to this week's Dharma Talk. And thank all of you for joining us here at beautiful Bali Rica, in beautiful Costa Rica, and on the amazing internet. We will begin this morning with some meditative relaxation guided by Lisa. So there you go.
Good morning. Today is going to be a simple silent meditation
Okay.
with just one instruction beyond what normally you know about meditating. And that instruction is to just have like a Mona Lisa smile on your face. So it's just the slightest upturn. It's like almost an energetic little smile. And just notice the difference in quality that makes while you're meditating. Just don't have an expectation. It's just a noticing. Maybe it won't make a difference, but maybe it will.
Yes, it does.
I know. You have to give the option, right? So that's the idea. Just what does having that little bit of an energetic grin offer to you? So let's close our eyes. Take 2 deep clearing breaths. Sigh out the exhale. Just releasing all the energies from getting here. Now turn your sense doors inward. Let your attention be aware of the rise and fall of your breath. As we've been doing, we're suspending our minds and just being present with what is. And we add that little Mona Lisa smile and observe. Slowly opening your eyes. I'd just like to ask if anyone noticed any kind of difference from having that little smile. If it changed the quality of the space you're in or not.
I think it does.
Yeah? Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
How did it? Oh.
I think the first time I put this a little smile on my face, I feel like some kind of warm energy coming up in the body.
Good description. Warm energy.
Yeah.
It's difficult to sustain though.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until you find yourself grinning like an idiot all the time. Which kind of happens when you get into the whole darn thing. You're just like, you know, and you just smile. You don't even know why, what you're smiling at. You're just doing it.
What I like about that practice and just trying it out is you can use it like in your day if you're not feeling so great. Just put the little smile on, and somehow that energy just will shift. It's like do the physical motion, and then the rest of you catches up with it. So
part of body awareness, actually, and emotional consciousness. Okay, now, yay.
I'll turn the floor
Thank
over
you,
to Jeff.
Lisa.
Turn the
A
cushion over.
very warm welcome back from the cold country of Minnesota to Jeff Olson. There may be some people here who are not familiar with you. You went away for so long. So I'll introduce you a little bit, okay?
Sure.
Okay. Jeff is a mental health therapist. Is that a good description?
Yep.
Who is also a keen student of Buddhist psychology and has become a follower of all things Dharma. Okay, he also is a musician, and before COVID, he played regularly at the Bamboo Room, was the main place, right? And then other good venues in town. And now that he's returned home and things are a little more open, that's being settled. He's getting back into some of those gigs. And the only one I know of so far is the Bamboo Room on Christmas Eve. So,
Yep, and then every other week, every other Friday night. So I'll just spend Fridays in OHL.
Will those be the same Fridays you talk, or shall we make it so you don't have to talk on those days?
That would be nice.
Okay, we can do that. Okay. Now, several years ago, Jeff and I partnered up on giving the Dharma talks. It made it easier for me in many ways, and he was really enjoying them and was perfectly happy to. He's an extrovert, so he didn't have any problem with giving the talks, and it turned out to be a wonderful decision because during the process of working so closely together on the topics and the talks, we became truly good friends. And so that's why I'm so happy that you are here.
Yeah, me too.
Again.
Happy to be back.
Now, of course, I say, maybe I shouldn't say.
Yeah, say it. Come on. Don't like this.
I say the reason that we're so special is because I'm gray and he's gay. Oh dear. Together we are formidable. Right?
I'm a bit gray as well.
Well, I can see that. Do you have hair?
Not much.
All right. Okay. So, enough of you.
Yes, too much of me.
Enough of you. We're really glad you're here. And now to today's topic. Today's topic is intimidating to me, so you're going to have to be a little patient and maybe a little slow, a little hesitant at certain spots to be sure I'm saying it in a way that can come across. It's because it is the biggest topic, I think, in all of Buddhism. We are leaving today our talk on the third noble truth, the cessation of suffering, the talk that said, hey guys, there's a way out of here. There's a way out of this suffering. And we're moving into the fourth noble talk, which is the noble Eightfold Path. And this is the path to enlightenment, which is the liberation from suffering, the way out, how you do it. Now you'll notice it's called Eightfold Path. If you've ever seen those things, you used to get them in card shops, particularly travel ones, where you pull and hold them and the whole thing drops down and it's card. And you get to see all kinds of different things from one place. So if you're going to Minnesota, you pull it up and you'll see, Paul Bunyan and the Babe the Blue Ox and all that stuff. So that's a fold. It's called a fold because everything in Buddhism folds into everything else. It's all connected. Major lesson from the beginning is that we are and all things are connected and interdependent. Nothing stands totally alone. It may be individual, but we're all within a holding. You remember last week, here I go again. The Buddha likened the Four Noble Truths to the footprint of an elephant, which I love, because he says the footprint of the elephant is so massive that the footprint of any and every other sentient being can be placed and held and viewed within it. So, he said, are the Four Noble Truths. Every teaching, every philosophy, every thought, everything can be placed and held and viewed within the Four Noble Truths. Now, if you're joining the group or starting off or just basically not all that familiar with the Dharma, don't worry that you're coming here today and we're starting with the fourth instead of the first. Because everything that's in the first three is going to be talked about and encompassed in this one, the path. And you notice also, well, let me go back to that fold. You're going to unfold it, and there are going to be three big folds. We'll go into that later. Then if you pull that fold up, it's got a little tab on it. Oh, more folds come out. And then you go down, and there are more folds. That's how everything finally ends up being connected to everything else. So anyway, if this is the very first day you ever even heard the word Dharma, relax, be receptive, just listen, and if you have questions, remember them so that you can ask them later or check them out on the internet or whatever. Okay, so that's why we call it fold. And we talk of it as a path. Now, clearly, this is a metaphor. It's a metaphor for a journey. We're getting from here to there. It's the, hey guys, there's a way out of here. This is the path. And this is what we study and what we practice, all the principles and practices. Now, the wonderful author, T.S. Eliot, wrote a quote that I asked the guys to pull up for me because I think it tells you what the Eightfold Path is about when you start this journey up the Eightfold Path. So Jeff has got it, and he's going to read it to us.
T.S. Eliot excerpt from The Little Getting. The Little Getting.
Mhm.
We shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time.
Okay? If I ask anyone in this room what the lesson was that Dorothy learned when she took the yellow brick road, you would know the answer.
There's no place like home.
There's no place like home. T.S. Eliot is expressing the same thing. We are by nature seekers, particularly spiritual seekers. Sometimes we stop seeking. We just quit. The most existential question that we have in spiritual seeking is, who am I? Followed by, why am I here? What's my purpose? And all these other things. But basically, the journey on the Eightfold Path, metaphorically, is to seek and find our own true nature. Now, Buddhists call this nature Buddha nature. Buddha nature is it's expressed again metaphorically, illustratively, as a clear white light, an energy of love from which we come and to which we return. And it is described as, it is our own true nature. It is home. So we seek this home, and we go through all this stuff in our lives to, as T.S. Eliot says, until we return to where we started and we see it as for the first time. And what has happened is not that we have the answers. We're not probably going to get all the answers in any one lifetime, but that we have placed ourselves in an alignment with beautiful love energy, creative energy. It's not beautiful hatred energy, because that is going the wrong way, and we know it. It's splintering us, it's separating us, it's hurting us. And that's not what we're seeking. A very wise Buddhist teacher gave it a very good definition. And what we find is an inner, limitless space of awareness of who we are. It's boundless. And we know one thing right up front as we go on this trip to getting home to ourselves. We're not going to find the path out there. The path isn't out there. It's an inward path. Okay? So Dorothy found home. Buddha nature finds home into who we really are. And there's so many references. In Buddhism, if you have taken the time, been skeptical, tried everything out to your own satisfaction, or if you just want to jump in, some people do it at the beginning, some wait, you're going to take as a validation that you are a Buddhist. You don't have to do it. You're a Buddhist whether you do this or not. But if you kind of want to say, yeah, this is for me, you take vows called the 3 refuges. A refuge is a place of safety, a place of security. It's a place of shelter from the storm. So in the storms of life and living and getting through all that we go through, Buddhism offers 3 refuges, 3 shelters from the storm. The Buddha himself for the teachings, the Dharma, the teachings to follow, and the Sangha, which is what we are here, our spiritual friends. Any friends, really, but particularly those friends who are on the same spiritual path, so that we can come and be together with a sense of trust and a sense of peace and quiet, that we are in a place of refuge, which is why any spiritual place is a place of refuge, but can be expressed. I remember the first time I walked into a cathedral. It was actually in St. Paul, and I was in, I think, the second grade, and the kids were throwing snowballs, and I heard a cop car coming. I remember this so well, and I ran to the nearest building, which was the big stone Presbyterian church that's out there somewhere.
Mhm.
It was on my way home anyway, and I hid in there, and it was so beautiful. There were candles on the altar. There wasn't anybody there. And it was so still and so quiet. And as we were saying with the planetarium, does the space in the planetarium make you feel big or little? It made me feel both at one time. And I felt, the first time I recall a spiritual experience. And we all have them. Everybody here had those moments?
Mhm.
Yeah, where it just comes into your heart. So, okay, so now we've got our folder. We kind of know where we're headed. So we're ready to hop on and go on the path. It's going to take us the rest of our lives. It is what we make of it.
Ruthie, there's a glass of water beside.
Thank you, darling. Here I go. I really tried to get rid of all this before I left, but I didn't. The Eightfold Path has three major folds. The first is wisdom, the wisdom teachings. And the first of the wisdom teachings is what is called generally right view or right understanding. Right view or right understanding is traditionally taught as being framed within the Four Noble Truths. We're going to study that. We're going to practice that. Okay. The second of the wisdom teachings is right intention. This is just what it said. It's what's our intention. Basically, we've just said my intention is to get myself home to a place where I'm in alignment with the universe. I'm unified in a universe, and I'm comfortable with that. So that's kind of that. Okay, the intention can be anything, but the Buddha gives you three main ones. Jeff will talk about them, I guess, next week. And they are very simple. The first one is the intention of renunciation. That's of letting go. In Buddhism, we don't take on more. We don't add on. We release. We let go of the negative. Just let it go as much as possible. Now, I'd like to make a point here, because this goes with right understanding. As you get into the Dharma, you will find what on the surface of things seems to be a powerful difference. Until you follow it deeply enough, and then you find the connections. And I'll give you an example for those of you here who are from a Christian background. A Christian background says that the separation that causes our suffering is separation from God, and that we are born into a sense of this separation, a sense that something is wrong with us, that we are lacking something, that we need to get connected to something. And we call that original sin. Is that okay? Is that a decent enough feel? He's a really good Christian.
A theology major
Yeah,
in my BA. So
yeah, there you go. So anyway, this is the basic thing. Separation from God, original sin. I have to repent to find my way to that home, that unification again. The Buddha says that we are energy beings, and the energy of creation is this radiant light. And we do not have to repent. We have to remember that light within us. Does that make sense? In other words, we are separated from our own Buddha nature, which is innately, fundamentally, perfectly, perfect and created, and we have lost our way. So while in our Christian faith, we can say, okay, I've sinned. Well, in Buddhism, it says we're stuck in samsara, which is lost in ignorance. We don't know who we are. We have lost our way, and we're wandering in a cyclical wheel of life that goes from one life to the next life to the next life, trying to find our way back to our true nature, which is always there, and it's in everyone. It is built in, is baked into the system. But a lot of people get way far off the path, and they have to go through a lot to get to the end of that yellow brick road and find their way home to themselves. So this kind of sounds kind of simplistic and childish, but I think it sort of is. Now, the Buddha doesn't say that the place we're going is over the rainbow, you know. It's not where troubles melt like lemon drops and far above the chimney tops. So now you connect to the seventh step, which is mindfulness. And we're very mindful that life is not always, but sometimes it is, lemon drops and puppy dogs and all that stuff. But we have to deal with it as it is. And we create our realities by seeing life, by having right view from the position we take. This is hard to say. Your reality is real because of where you're looking, where you're standing. This is one of the reasons why Buddhism is built on a very scientific method of inquiry rather than on a faith-based belief system. Because what I see and what you see may be two different things with the same object. Okay? We talked about last week, Third Noble Truth, that Einstein said that in the womb, as a result of karma from lives, past perhaps, but he felt for sure that we are actually brought into this world with one or another of two basic positions. One that says the world is benevolent. It is friendly. It is kind. It is nurturing. It is loving. I'm contented. The other says the world is malevolent. It is dangerous. It is frightening. It's scary. It's evil. Okay, so what are you supposed to do with this? If you're just born that way, because it's your karma that you carried over because you were really crappy, what do you do with it? And how do you see it? Well, just look around you. When we talk about true nature, you see people who are extroverted and friendly and outgoing and warm and loving. And you see people who are withdrawn, moody, perhaps depressed, people with a lot of just basic downness. There's a lot here that Buddhism goes into on vibration. That as we go through, this is another topic, and we need to bring Michael home to give us some talks on the chakras. In Christianity, we say, in the beginning was the Word. Actually, before the Bible was used the word, it said, in the beginning was the vibration. Okay? Buddhism talks about the vibrational. When you have gotten yourself on the path and you're really working with good energy, you have a higher vibration. Of course, a person who is really down can drop into depression. And a very good definition of depression is not sadness, but a lack of vitality. You just can't get up anymore. You pulled covers over your head. You don't want to deal with it. Your vibration level goes down, down, down. So, although we're all connected, we have all these individual viewpoints within the totality. All right? So, here, let's go back to how we get there. We got two teachings or two paths within the Eightfold Path that are the wisdom teachings. That's everything we think and feel and know. There are three ethical teachings, and this is how we align our behavior with our true nature. And we'll get to that later. There are 5 precepts, just basically. But it does no good to understand right view and have right intention and then go out and act without integrity. You've just washed out any movement towards knowing yourself if you act in ways that are harmful to other people. Did I say what the 3 intentions were?
You did not. You said renunciation.
Okay. Renunciation is the first one. Goodwill is the second. These are the 3 basic intentions. Goodwill is the second. This means that you bear no malice, no ill will to any other being or anything. You operate from a position of goodwill. Okay? The third is to do no harm. This is what the Dalai Lama means when people ask him, what do we do about all this suffering? And he says, don't add to it. Even if it's coming your way, don't add to it. Now you're beginning to operate at a higher frequency. Now you're beginning to get to your higher self. Okay. So those are the first two. Those are the wisdom teachings. The Four Noble Truths and everything that follows. All the teachings. The first one we've touched on is inner being, interconnection. Then right intention. The second three factors. It's better to call them factors than steps, but it's a path, so we automatically say steps. Are ethical. And we'll go to those later. That's how we actually act on what we know. If you have a knowing within yourself that something is right and you don't act on that, that's taking you off the path. Okay, does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
Detour.
You got a detour. You got an uh-oh. You got a uh-oh. My light just went out. We had an energy blip. Okay, here we go. And the third factors are listed as meditation. And there are three of them: right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. I didn't go into I'm getting off track here. I didn't go into the three that are
ethical.
under ethics. That's a right speech, right action, and right livelihood. So 2, wisdom. 3, behavioral. And 3 that are called meditation. And they're very important because that's the way in. You can't achieve this journey. You can't reach the end of this path, if there is such a thing, liberation from this path, by anything out there, no matter how good or bad it is. It is a knowing in your heart. It's your heart. Now, when we get to the Sangha, I wanted to say, when we have the 3 refuges, the Buddha's teachings, the teachings themselves, and our group of friends, Ram Dass described the Sangha and made a poster of it, which is we are all just walking each other home. Okay, I love that poster. So that's basically the structure of the Eightfold Path, and then you take it apart. And the most important thing really is to know that this is all for your well-being. None of it is forced. The minute you start forcing yourself and you tense up and you mess up your energy, so just relax, as I said to begin with, just relax, be receptive. And if you find there are things in yourself you don't like, don't go there too much, just sit with it. If you have a problem with anger, we've talked about that before, sit with it. If you try and repress it, if you try and beat it out of yourself, you're not going to get anywhere because it just goes down and gets deeper in your habitual emotional patterns. You sit with it and you let it be overcome and find its own way out, because it will when you stop feeling animosity, aversion. Then the anger goes away because it came with aversion. Anger arrives when you are against something, when you really don't like something. I have one more thing to say that I think is really important, because this is covered quite a lot, I think, already. And it's the word essence. The essence of something. If we talk about anything that seems to be separated polarized, whatever. If you're a Buddhist, you begin to look for the essence. There's the pro and there's the con. And whatever the topic is, search for the essence. The Buddha describes the essence as this. You have a potter. He's making pots. Pot A is made out of clay. It's fat and it's round and it has no colors. Pot B is tall and stately and beautiful and it's painted. Are they different? Their essence is clay. They are both made of clay. The difference is in shaping and how we see the use of the clay. So when we come to people and we say so often, under the skin, all sentient beings have the same essence. They just have a spectrum, a huge spectrum of differences. But when you take those differences away, the body of the man you hate is just like the one you have or the guy that you love. The essence, body essence, is the same for all. Okay? And essentially, all sentient beings want love. They want stability. They want security. They want to be happy. So this guy over here who says, I hate this guy over here, but we both want the same things. The superficial thing that is separating us is an opinion. It's a concept. And we don't know, most of the time, we don't see the long view, which is who's right and who's wrong. Sometimes we don't know. Sometimes we know that it's fact-based, we listen to the facts. Other times, we just don't trust. And here the Buddha says trust. Ultimately, who do you trust? You want to develop trust in yourself. That I have the confidence that I can take this path. I can suffer whatever slings and arrows go along with this territory. And I can rejoice in all the wonderful places. But I trust myself. I don't doubt my ability to find my way home to me. And no one else has to tell me who I am. I need to find for myself. So if you understand that anytime you have differences, you're talking always in Buddhism about a spectrum from the least to the most. And generally speaking, it's a good idea to find that essence, which is in both sides. Okay? Now, you don't have to take the same position in an oppositional section, but you do have to recognize that what you're talking about is not the essence. It's the surface. And with that, we're looking for our way home. We got friends, we've got teachings. We can get there. Maybe not in this lifetime. Martin Luther King said, I can see the mountain. I may not get there with you. So he saw the long view. So the long arc of your lives is where you place your mind, and you put it way out there, which is way in here. So there we are. That's all. I don't know. Please open this up, and I'll let you take it over and ask questions because I can't see it all today. I'm really bad, and I'm not hearing very well either. Isn't that terrible? This is, but I would really love to hear comments. I tried to simplify this because actually all the true answers always end up being very simple. They all boil down to something extremely simple. After you get through running around in circles and going in 15 different directions, and you sit down and you become still and you listen to your heart, you usually find your way out. All yours, my dear.
Comments? Yeah.
Hi, Ruthie. It's Pam.
Hi.
I'm sitting outside today. I have a cold.
Oh,
Okay.
awesome. Speak up, Pam, because then the people, out in internet land might be able to hear you later.
It's really nice to see you again, and I'm happy to be back in Costa Rica, and thank you for a wonderful talk.
Oh, good.
And I have more of a comment, just that I like how we start in the middle every week, and it's always the beginning.
That's
Mhm.
right.
So
That's right.
it's always pertinent.
Okay. Good. Well,
Awesome.
it's all pretty personal and private in a group setting. And there are things we don't talk about at a cocktail party. You have to be among friends.
Somebody else
Thank you for
comment
that.
or question? I wanted to make one along the way, but I was too busy listening to you. The thing that I really like, a number of things that I really like about the Dharma, is that it's so inclusive rather than exclusive.
Mhm.
So if you are if you are an atheist, or you are a Christian, or you are a Jew, it's for you.
Mhm.
And so I really like that that piece of it. And even the Buddha said that I learned early on from Ruthie, and that is, Buddha said he was not the answer. He said he was just a finger pointing at the moon.
Yes. Look at the moon.
Don't look at me.
nothing.
Look at the finger pointing at the moon, and that's the moon is home, the way you described it today.
Yes.
And so
exactly.
I really like that. The other thing is, as a person who works in the psychology field, is this is like chapter 1 of psychology. It's all congruent. To find your way home, to find what your essence is, and to be that in an ethical and in a way that is a gift both to you and to the world. There's chapter 1 of psychology.
Mhm.
The other thing that I really like is that there's so much, if ever you get a chance to read in the Bible, Matthew 5-7,
Mhm.
which was Jesus' greatest talk. The things Ruthie is talking about is probably Buddha's greatest talk, his
Yeah.
initial enlightened talk about the Eightfold Path. But Jesus was the Sermon on the Mount. And they're the same.
They are the same. I meant to cover that, guys, and I forgot. That when you finally follow that path that seems so different in Christianity and Buddhism, they both end up in the same place.
Mhm.
And that takes you back to many paths, one Dharma.
Mhm.
That's the one Dharma includes all spiritual paths. And the seeming differences finally resolve themselves. And that one resolution is always love.
Mm-hmm. Right. At the heart of that is that if you find, and why we practice the loving kindness meditation, is no matter who it is in your life, if you apply love to it, it transforms.
Mm-hmm.
You are transformed, and your view of it, seeing we're talking about view and understanding,
Right view.
is transformed. Your mind is changed. And when that happens, there's nothing that's that dramatic anymore.
Lisa
all calm.
talked about the shift with a smile. I think since we couch everything here and we're holding it like that elephant's foot, we're holding it all in mindfulness. You be aware, you can be aware of a shift. Those are little moments of enlightenment. When you're presented with something and you actually apply Buddhist psychology, it's applied psychology. This isn't theoretical psychology, it's applied psychology. And all of a sudden you feel a shift. And it's usually a little bit of relief. It's relief from carrying a grudge. It's relief from feeling angry or what have you.
I just want to read something that I found on Facebook yesterday.
Okay. Speak up, sweetie.
Yep. It says, do everything with so much love in your heart that you would never want to do it any other way.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Any other comments, questions, thoughts?
Well, one I like that is similar to hers. Anytime you find that you don't like somebody, remind yourself of this sentence. I think it was W.H. Auden who wrote it. I don't know. But it goes, love your crooked neighbor with all your crooked heart. You know, remind yourself of that, that we're all in this together. Okay.
Sure.
One thing it just happened recently, a few days ago, walking on the road and encountering someone who's not a pleasant person, who's upset about the dogs in the road.
Mhm.
And through this every time I can use the Buddhist teachings, I'm so thankful. And he was really upset, to put it mildly.
So the other day when you saw him?
Yes, I was just walking on
Yeah.
Papagayo. And I was able to look at him with compassion. And
Thank you.
and I was aware of it after, at first it was a little shaky, but then I thought, this man is in pain. I don't know
Mhm.
what about. Something could have just happened, something, whatever. Maybe that's his nature for now. But I was able to pull it up and know that, he was in some
That's
sort of
right.
pain. And that's Buddhism.
It is.
Someone said, the one who hurts is hurting. And I think that's what you saw with the compassion. You have to be hurting to,
And
be in that mood.
And the other thing is, just to finish it, is instead of going on a thing, and I noticed the difference between how I might have reacted in the past,
Yeah.
of getting more pissed off or whatever, about matching the energies, I was able to think, okay, how can I fix this? Or how can I make this different? And actually talk with Suzanne about, well, what can we do about this? About people speeding really fast
Right.
on the road and oblivious to others. What can we do about it? So we were able to start to implement a plan of maybe making things a little more peaceful around here.
Sure. That's a
Buddhism.
wonderful aspiration.
Yeah.
And that's, you remember the talk of Einstein, that the only thing that we can do is to widen our circle of compassion. And with that, and the Buddha also says that it's better to walk alone than with bad companions. So as you're widening your circle of compassion, which will take in all the suffering people, and the compassion says they're suffering and because, of this, and I feel for them, you begin to realize the value of those people in your life. You can't have 500 Facebook friends. They're not real. You begin to look for your spiritual friends or just your regular friends.
We spent quite a bit of time talking maybe 6 months ago about detached involvement.
Mhm.
And, maybe we'll revisit that sometime,
Yeah.
but that's the whole idea, is that anything that's negative energy that we could join and add to the suffering of it, we can stay involved with that in a detached way and still be involved both at the same time. And it's a trick, but it's a real possible
It's
trick
very important.
where we're part of a solution rather than part of
Right.
creating a snowball of the problem.
Well, you cannot often be a part of the solution unless you can detach enough from the problem to be able to see it in its entirety.
You can't see the forest for the
That's
trees.
when I say that's the essence. When you see the essence of the problem, it's easier to work with than when you just see the results coming at you.
And stop making it us and them.
Mhm,
Right.
absolutely.
The
Always.
separate.
That's just
Always.
That's, I think.
embedded in it. John, did you want to say something? Were you just stretching it?
Just that I wasn't just swatting flies.
Yeah, okay. I was
I
wondering.
didn't see you, John. I'm sorry. I still
No,
don't
that's
see you.
fine.
See you?
Yeah, in the
It's
corner.
very apropos, and it made me. I think it's something I read recently by Elizabeth Gilbert, who is not really a Buddhist, but she fell under the
Yeah, she falls in.
Hinduism and their elements, and she talked about the value of spontaneous act of kindness
Mm-hmm.
to jolt us out of this this gloomy cloud
Mm-hmm.
kind of mood. And she wrote about, she was riding a bus in New York City one night, rush hour, traffic was terrible, weather was terrible, everybody was sort of grouchy and folded into themselves, and a woman who was pregnant got on the bus and nobody gave her a seat.
Mm.
And there was sort of a bit of pushing going on. Suddenly the bus driver comes on the intercom and said, folks, he says, I know how you feel. I feel that way myself. He says, I can't do anything about the traffic. I can't do anything about the time. But maybe I can help you out with your problems. He says, I'm going to hold out my hand when you get out of the bus, and I want you to figuratively drop your troubles into my hand.
Mm-hmm.
He said, don't take them home to your family tonight. He says, my route takes me past the Hudson River. And what I'm going to do with all your problems is throw them in the river. And she goes on and talks about the importance of that there's a bus driver who's largely invisible, but he did something extraordinary and kind that made everybody feel better.
Random acts of kindness really do have an influence, and it does ripple.
And they stop people in their tracks and make them think of who they really are and what they want to do.
Nice.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
Tom here with me. Just a comment to get back at what the Buddha said was like, don't look at me, but look at the finger pointing at the moon.
Yes.
Something that came up on me was this one book that I read
Uh-huh.
a while, 2 years ago maybe. It's called Siddhartha by Herman.
Siddhartha. Yeah,
like,
probably everyone here's read it.
For anyone who hasn't read it,
It
like,
has to
I
be.
just wanted to say this actually, like
It's
really, if you see
wonderful.
it, it's like you read it in one day.
Yeah.
It costs like $2, I think.
Yeah.
And it's so
Siddhartha. That's the Buddha's first name.
yeah.
Siddhartha
Yeah,
Gautama.
I don't know. I connected to this as well. Bit like following your own path within the teachings.
That's right.
As
And
well.
of course, he uses the river.
Yeah,
And you got to remember, Buddhism, really almost any thing of this nature, is difficult to follow if you are literal. Because this is not a literal journey. It's not a literal home. It's these things are all in metaphors and analogies and whatnot, and we use the river and whatnot.
Yeah.
I would like, just on the line of what you're saying. Can I interrupt you?
Yeah.
You got more? Say more.
Oh, but Siddhartha.
Oh, me about Siddhartha?
Yeah.
To say more about what I thought about it.
Yeah. Whoop.
Okay.
No.
Well, I just think it's amazing that the guy wrote it in the 1920s. I just want to say that as well. Like this is so progressive, I guess, for that time. I wasn't there, but
Obviously.
but amazing.
I almost was.
Yeah. No, but like I think it really inspired me, the book, in a way of I'm not following anyone else's path here. Like I can do all the Buddha's teachings and like try and be a monk or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Full respect to people doing that and still finding their own way. But for me, it really gave me the inspiration to, at that moment, kind of step away from it as well and be more confident within myself, which road I'm taking.
Yes.
You know, and it might be different from you and all the people around me should be. But I'm not following anyone else's teachings towards enlightenment because that's not my experience.
That's
My
right.
experience is trust within myself. It's going to get me there. It's not someone else's. And that's
Exactly.
what I got from it.
Good. It's awesome.
You know, can I just say something? I love Siddhartha. And there's just a few books that have just hit me the same way. And I wish we could all compile a list of books that hit them. Like, I also like Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance.
Yeah.
Which is a
Gosh,
great
that's
one.
very difficult.
Yeah. But that was good. But Siddhartha, really,
Yeah, it's amazing.
can we not get a list together?
Autobiography of a Yoga is very
what?
well known. Autobiography of a Yoga.
I have never heard
That's
Good
probably
suggestions, Eddie, that
actually
we could maybe post something on the board.
the two
Things to read.
books that whoever compiles
Then we should
these,
be done.
huh?
Then we should be done too.
Okay, whoever compiles the books, things, messages or whatever, the publishing companies, say the two most read spiritual books. The first is Autobiography of a Yoga, and the second is Be Here Now by Ram Dass. Yeah. And then when the person who was saying this said when they spoke to Ram Dass about it, what his favorite book was, he said Autobiography of a Yoga. So there we are. We all end up going home. Okay, we're running long again, so here we go.
Metta.
We'll do metta. It's loving kindness. Angel is new here. So Angel, I'm going to say a phrase and tell you who to address it to. And you say it to yourself quietly to that person, okay? Got it?
If I don't completely, I'll get it after.
All right.
It's pretty intuitive.
Okay, I'm going to say, Angel, bring yourself to your own mind as if you were looking in a mirror. And say this to yourself. Angel, may I be well. May no harm come to me. May I live with ease, calm and peaceful. May I be happy. Let that sink in. Smile to yourself. And now bring to mind someone that you love. Love, love, love. All your heart. Picture them. Smile to them. Say to them, may you be well. May no harm come to you. May you live with ease, calm and peaceful. May you be happy. Now you could blow them a kiss or a wave. You take a deep breath and you move on to your neutral person. This might be someone such as the the neighbor who walks on the road and is grumpy, or someone who waits on you, someone who is always cheerful, just the opposite. But there's someone that you may not even know their name. And if that's the case, you can address them as friend. Dear friend, may you be well. May no harm come to you. May you live with ease, calm and peaceful. May you be happy. And then, again, you release them. Take a deep breath or two. And now you're going to move out further to someone with whom you are in conflict. Someone you don't like. Or maybe it's someone who just doesn't like you. But something is not good between you. Bring their face to mind. And releasing all sense of malice, but trying to see the essence. Say to this person, may you be well. May no harm come to you. May you live with ease, calm and peaceful. May you be happy. Another deep breath or two. And now, Angel, we place our hands over our hearts. Because this is symbolically the only space big enough to take it all in. All sentient beings. A sentient being is any being with consciousness. That means the dogs and the cats and the birds and the turtles. All the fishies in the deep blue sea. We take them all into this expanded, open space, boundless space. And we say to them, may all beings everywhere on this plane and all other planes be well. May all beings everywhere be safe. May all beings everywhere be free from suffering. May all beings everywhere be happy. Another few deep breaths. If you're home, and if you do any form of loving kindness meditation, just sit with it. Let it get into your inner self, your cells. And when you're ready, release your hands, open our eyes, put our hands together, get a really big smile to whoever is to the left of us and to the right of us. And we say, all of those who know this can say it with us, go in peace.
Go making peace.
Go making peace.
Living gently.
Living gently.
Living gently.
Loving mightily.
Loving mightily.
And bowing to
Bowing to the
And
mysteries.
bowing to the mysteries. Okay, guys, this was
Really
great to have
Thank
you home.
Thank
Great to have you home.